Mercury in Leo retrograde. Now, what is retrograde? Retrograde is past influences that happened previously and reoccurring. So, if you had a situation where something that took place in the past is going to basically be popping back up during this phase, and of course, this retrograde phase until August, 25, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. We'll be in Virgo season, where Mars is at in Virgo at the moment. Now, Mercury, what is Mercury? Mercury is the way we think, communicate, analyze, share ideas, learn, accumulate information, see different points of views, and, come up with a correspondence on how to go about, detailed endeavors. Now, what is Leo? Leo is fifth house, creative endeavors, expressions, energies, the way you put yourself out there in the world, the way you present yourself. Leo also is a fixed sign, so of course it's fixated and stubborn in its own way of feeling and seeing about their visions, their passions, motivations, and of course their drive. So you already know off rip, Leos are their own fire. They're their own camp. They're their own way of expressing themselves. They're their own way of, burning through reality. And they're their own way of, making sure that fire is seen, that fire is expressed, and that fire is pretty much placed in, it's pretty much in the area and location where it's, of course, gravitating a whole lot of attention. It's not like Aries. Aries is pretty much, they're going to put up, initiate, and of course, they're going to move on to the next project. Sagittarius are going to be, the last decon of the fire. And of course, it's kind of like, it play out in that mechanism where, you're wise. You know what's going on. You know what happened after, these two modalities, had an influence. So pretty much we have Mercury and Leo, I believe, in the 14 degrees mechanism. So anytime it's a 0 to 19 degree mechanism in the planet, or, not a planet, but like a sign, this is an area and location where, maturity has not yet fully got there, which means puberty has not fully became. So what does that mean? That means, you're still young, you're still wild, you're still reckless, and this is going to pretty much play out in that mechanism. Now, the sun rules Leo, so of course it's the area and location where you shine light on. So now you have Mercury, your way of thinking, communicating, and analyze. Now Mercury is ruled by Gemini, and it's of course ruled by Virgo, but it's exalted in Virgo because Virgo got that side of practical measures. So the feminine side. Gemini is the masculine side, so the feminine side is more inwardly, and of course they like to do things in a way where it's like more real strongly from a nature within versus a nature without. Now, when it comes to Virgos is going to be more down to earth and practical, and of course more into the details of things and inspections. Now, Gemini is, immutable is, so of course they're very immutable and adaptable and changeable to the ideas of what they accumulate from themselves, how they communicate with themselves, how they, influenced by others' ideas and others' concepts or way about going about these things. They're very curious, very into the details about things, so that's how it's going to play out. Now, you got, Mercury and Virgo, they're going to be more realistic about things, but they're going to worry a lot too. But these two can help each other because, the air can pretty much bring that mutable approach towards, more laid back area and location where, you don't have to be too over wordy, but sometimes you need the Virgo. Sometimes Gemini need the Virgo to, not be all over the place. You're all over the place with your mind, your ideas and things you're learning, but, you got to put that learning mechanism also into practicality too. So it's how it play out. Now, pretty much how this is going to play out, when we got Mercury and Leo retrograde, this is going to be past mental ideas, past mental expressions, past, ways of communicating and sharing ideas, and past ways of feeling and seeing about your way of expressing your mind will be passing back up. So Mercury plays the endeavors of what you do on a day-to-day basis, your daily endeavors, and retrograde is pretty much, coming back up to test you. The universe is testing you to see, if you learn from your mistakes, or if you learn how to get up off your 1-2, or if you learn how to, take the appropriate steps towards, expressing yourself. So it's pretty much, it's analyzing right now. It's retroly analyzing right now. So yeah, that's how it's going to play out. Now we're going to break down these signs, these houses, and how it's going to influence you when it comes to your horoscope. So if you got the first house in Leo, The first house, the Leo exalts the first house. So you're gonna have some extreme past influences that's gonna pop back up into this house right here. Now Mercury here in this house, it's like a, Mercury in general, it could play out the opportunity or it could play out a misunderstanding. So you may come across misunderstandings or opportunities. Now I ain't referring that to your first house. I'm not referring that to your sign or anything of that matter. I'm just saying, Virgo, Virgo and first house energies is it's a in conjunction. Now Gemini plays sextiles opportunities, but that's a whole different point of view and reference on how I'm gonna break it down when it comes to the charts and things that matter. Now Mercury in the first house, you're all about yourself. You're all about expressing your way of thinking and communicating and being fixated on your own ways of feeling and seeing about yourself. That's how your mind's gonna be perspective. Nobody can tell you how to think or throw things off or how you do things in a different construct. You're gonna have a fixated way of feeling and seeing about your expressions mentally. Now, it's gonna be past scenarios that you had a fixated point of view and reference of expressing your mind, and your mentalities are gonna basically be popping back up. Things that's gonna put you to the test, and you may have difficulties or some mental breakdowns when it comes to expressing your mentalities. Because Leo exalts the first house, so you may this energy is gonna extremely hit you when it comes to your first house. And this also, you're gonna also manifest this energy from people, places, and things within your first house as well. Mental clashes during this time, as it feels like your mind ain't moving in the way how you want it to move. It's kind of like you're reflecting. It's a time to reflect when it comes to your mental pursuits. Now in the second house here, this is a second house, and Mercury in the second house. It plays ups and downs because Venus falls in Mercury, so this could be a circumstance situation where you may deal with some ups and downs when it comes to past mental values. That's going to be popping back up. Past fixated ways of mentally valuing your money is going to pass back up, or past previous money matters will pop back up right now. Now there's going to be some ups and downs. You feel me? Be very careful when it comes to your credit card, debit card, and try not to share too much information. Make sure your shit is in your wallet. Make sure you're interpreting yourself properly. Now this is a house where Leo. It's like it's a semi sextile right here though, because this is also actually Leo squares this house, but Mercury in this house can play out into a semi sextile. It can play out into a circumstance situation where it can be a trine, a gift. But in this house right here, it's gonna play out into a mechanism where you need to learn how to deal with mental value down this time. For me, you learn how to value your mind over your money, or value your mental pursuits towards money. Now, Mercury is home in the third house, and Leo brings sextiles in this house right here. So you're gonna manifest opportunities of past influences dealing with your mind and the way you express yourself. This could be you dealing with a sibling, a neighbor, things that's dealing with your car, your environment, or mobility, or your phone, things that are massive. These past scenarios is going to pass back up to test to see, if you how you can transmute the energy, or how the energy is going to basically, be presented out in you in a dramatic way. But it's going to be past dramatic situations and scenarios popping back up when it comes to your third house. Others' points of views of having fixated mental pursuits, and your point of views of having fixated mental pursuits will be basically popping back up during this time. You got Mercury in the fourth house. This is a Taurus ascendant. Now, Mercury in the fourth house, this can play out a semi-sextile, can play out opportunities. Now, Leo in the fourth house is a semi-sextile to Taurus, but Taurus is a fixed sign. So all the fixed signs are going to be going through this scenario. So this is going to be past dramatic mental pursuits popping back up when it comes to home, family endeavors, and things that matter. Past situations dealing with home and family. Past, it's going to be some misunderstandings when it comes to communication, expressing, and it can get very dramatic, very self-centeredness during this time. It's going to be past self-centeredness dealing with home and family, past dramatic expressions, past influences dealing with the emotional, mental way of communicating with home and family. Now, Mercury in Leo, continuation, retrograde. See, Mercury in Leo in the fifth house, it's a strong conjunction here. Retrograde, Aries ascendant. Now, this is going to be past dramatic mental expressions dealing with romance, love, entertainment, fun, excitement, and of course, enjoyment, and of course, all endeavors in that mechanism. So you may basically be dealing with a love romantic affair that may basically pop up. It could be an ex, it could be someone in the past, or something that brought excitement, entertainment, fun, and of course enjoyment within your life. This can play out through many aspects and things that matter. Now, this could be something that you can add towards your mental endeavors, or this may be something that you may have to actually get rid of. But this Mercury in the fifth house play out. Mercury will play out. It could be an opportunity, or it could be a conjunction, a misunderstanding. So you may basically manifest opportunities for misunderstandings, dealing with the way you express yourself, how others are expressing themselves towards you, how others is bringing entertainment, excitement towards you, and this is a reflection towards how you can entertain your mind or how you can express your mind when it comes to these endeavors. That's how it's going to play out. Now, Mercury and Leo in the sixth house. This is a Pisces ascendant. Now, Mercury is debilitated. I'm lying. Mercury in the sixth house is home here. It's comfortable here. It gets to do whatever it want to do. And, of course, it's exalted. So you're going to have some exalted past influences dealing with the way of your mental pursuits, dealing with your work, your health, your routines, and, of course, excessive worry. So you're going to exaltedly worry your mental pursuits. You're going to exaltedly have past influence of this. Also, you're going to have, situations and scenarios where things may haywire. This can play like, this could be a situation where lava can, it's like lava right here. And the reason why I say that is because Mercury, now the sixth house is like an earth house. Is an earth house. But, you have it. This is like a situation where, the Mercury is a sixth house and Leo is a fire. So what happens when you bring fire to earth? Shit start burning. So you may basically have some heated and dramatic past experiences with your work, your health, your routines, your careers, your not a career, but most certainly like things that will lead up to your career. Supervisors and shit like that. Workers, work health issues and shit. These worries. These things gonna come to your mind in a worry mannerism. See, I got Mercury and Leo in my third house, but I'm already experiencing retrograde with all this stuttering and shit. Now, yeah, so you need to reflect on things that's presented in your area and location of perfection. For me, you need to learn how you need to reflect and retrograde on what you need to take with you when it comes to your sixth house, or leave these things in the past, and having a whole lot of clairvoyance, whole lot of clarity, because retrograde you're gonna have a new moon in Leo. So you want to be bringing past dirty shit from the sixth house and the new moon, because the moon is all about nurturing, caring. It's mom. Mom gonna make sure that she's gonna make sure you clean and things that matter. So Mercury is gonna be the child that's going crazy and shit. So it's mom is putting Mercury in learning mode right now. When we get into the new moon in Leo. Now, when it comes to Mercury and Mercury in the seventh house, Leo in the seventh house. This is Aquarius. Yeah, this is Aquarius ascendant. Now, Mercury and seventh. Now, Mercury in the seventh house. See, the seventh house falls of Mercury. So that means this could be a nightmare, or this can be, a situation where you can make a dream become better. Now, the reason also in this perspective right here. Now, Leo falls in the seventh house. So a planet that falls or a sign that falls, that means it's not as its best natures. It's not as in its best, influences. So that means You're gonna have to do a whole lot of work. Well, other people, places, and things around you may have to do a whole lot of work because seventh house is a house of codependent, and reflecting and seeing how the reflection can play out in the area and location where you can be worked on, and you can build your self esteem. But yeah, be aware of Aquarius ascendants because this Mercury and retrograde is gonna oppose you when it comes to your relationships and how you relate to others and how others relate towards you. So this can be a good time or a bad time depending on how you can and how you deal with these energies. Now you're gonna be past. This is gonna be past relationships. This is gonna be a Leo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant popping back up into your life, relationship wise. I also got to do a tarot reading wise. Also, this is gonna be a past relationships, past expressions, past dramatic relationships with one-on-one people, places, and things. Past enemies, past laws, past court scenarios, past relationships with associations. The reason why I say association because it's an Aquarius ascendant, so this play out in that mechanism of you carrying the appearance of the association mechanism. But this can play out into all magnitude. So it's gonna be past love, romances, popping back up, past one-on-one relationships, past relationships of all sorts. This can be good or bad. Past, partners and shit that you had, connections with, past balance, and weighing the scales coming back up and shit like that. So yeah, that's how it's gonna play out. So you need to reflect on: are you gonna be taking these individuals with you when the new moon comes in the seventh house, or are you gonna be leaving these individuals to perish? So yeah, eighth house in Mercury, eighth house in Leo, retrograde. Now this is gonna be past influences, Capricorn. Past influences dealing with shared resources or selling your soul to a shared resources or your soul being. Now this is a situation where past past deep desires coming back up mentally. This also gonna play out transformations within your environment, transformations with the things behind the scene, past sexual scenarios, and this can play out into mechanisms of all sorts. So you're gonna need to be past reflecting on who you're gonna be sharing resources with, sharing bills with, sharing sex with, sharing passions with, sharing motivations with, sharing desires with. You need to be reflecting on that. Are you gonna be dealing with your past booty calls, or you'll be dealing with something that's having deep connection during this time, or having an emotional deep connection during this time mentally. That's gonna be playing out. Now, ninth house in Leo, you a Sagittarius ascendant. So this is gonna be past dramatic experiences dealing with mental pursuits. Now, Mercury is debilitated here as well. So it's gonna play out a circumstance situation where there's gonna be some debilitated experiences, some debilitated expressions, some debilitated egotistical. And this gonna play out into areas and locations where you may have some dramatic experiences when it comes to your ninth house, moralities, God experiences, preaching, teaching, and church employees as well. This also gonna play out somebody that's that's very wise, or debates can pop up during that time. So be aware of that. So you need to figure out what you're gonna be taking with you when it comes to your higher octave mind, and leave it in the past. But you got to work hard on this. You got to put this into like realistic endeavors. Being that you have Mercury in this ninth house, and Leo, you got to be real realistic about things. Mercury and Leo in the 10th house retrograde. This is a Scorpio ascendant, so this is gonna be past authority figures popping back up when it comes to your status, career, and goal, what you're known for, and how you're seen. So things can be very dramatic here. So watch out for fact checks and stuff for that matter. Try not to get your social media tore down during this time. So Pat, you need to soak in your status. You need to sit in your status, light the fire, and figure out what you're gonna be taking with you when it comes to how you're expressing your creative endeavors towards your goals and ambitions. 11th house, it's gonna be past associations, past groups, past going past gangs that you connected with on a networking perspective. You gotta express yourself how you are networking. And of course, 12th house will be past dreams, imaginations, fantasies, and delusions. Past ghosts popping back up, and past subconscious egos popping back up right now. So yeah, that's Leo in the